On a sunny afternoon in September 1993, the town of Redridge, Vermont, buzzed with excitement. The bell tower at St. Clement's Chapel echoed with laughter and church music. Inside the small white church, decorated with ivy and white orchids, 26-year-old Emily Hartman was moments away from saying "I do." Emily had always been the soul of the town, graceful, kind, the type of woman who sent handwritten thank you cards and remembered your dog's name. Her fiancé, Daniel Reeves, was a high school teacher, known for his wit and calming presence. They were high school sweethearts, and theirs was the wedding the town had waited a decade to see. After a tearful and joyful ceremony, the newlyweds stepped into the golden afternoon for their wedding photoshoot. Emily wore a custom-designed ivory gown with lace sleeves and a satin train, a dress that had taken 8 months to perfect. Her mother had sewn a blue ribbon into the hem. The photographer, family friend Greg Halloway, directed the couple toward the edge of a nearby wooded trail known as Clover Path, a popular local spot for autumn photos. Daniel stepped away briefly to grab water from the car. When he returned, Emily was gone. At first, everyone assumed she'd wandered off to adjust her makeup, fix her hair, or just take a moment alone. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. Then Greg noticed her bouquet left untouched on a tree stump. Her veil lay in the grass. But there was no sign of Emily. Panic set in. Daniel and Greg called out for her, thinking perhaps she'd lost her way in the woods. But Emily knew that trail well. She'd grown up just a few blocks away. The police arrived within the hour. By nightfall, the woods were swarming with search teams, dogs, helicopters. Volunteers lit lanterns and candles, praying for her safe return. Flyers were printed by the hundreds. Daniel was inconsolable. Emily's mother, Lorraine, collapsed the following morning. Nothing was found, no torn dress, no footprints, no blood. It was as if she'd evaporated into the trees. Detectives explored every theory. Foul play. Had someone abducted her? Cold feet. Did she run? Accident. Did she fall into a ravine? But each scenario fell apart. Emily had no history of mental illness. No enemies. No financial troubles. She was excited for her honeymoon to Florence. She had just signed a teaching contract at the local kindergarten. The media swarmed Redridge. CNN ran the story. Oprah mentioned it. For weeks, her photo was everywhere. But after 6 months, the case turned cold. Years passed. The town moved on, but the Hartman family never did. Daniel never remarried. He kept her engagement ring on a chain around his neck. Every September 13th, he visited the trail and left yellow roses at the spot where Emily was last seen. Emily's parents died within 5 years of her disappearance. Her younger sister, Natalie, moved to California and refused to ever speak of Emily again. Yet, the mystery haunted Redridge. Teenagers dared each other to sneak into Clover Path at night. Locals swore they heard whispers. Others claimed they saw a woman in a wedding gown walking through the woods just after sundown. Her case became a local legend, one that everyone remembered but no one could explain. In November 2015, 22 years later, Kelsey Monroe, a vintage clothing reseller based in Albany, New York, was scrolling through an obscure online auction site called Old Soul Market. She stumbled on a listing titled, "Vintage 90s Wedding Dress, Unworn." It caught her eye. The gown was elegant, timeless, and eerily familiar. But what truly chilled her was a photo of the tag. The name E. Hartman was handwritten in cursive inside the neckline. Kelsey, a true crime podcast junkie, immediately recognized the name. She contacted police. The seller's profile traced back to a thrift store in rural Maine. Authorities visited and questioned the owner, who said the dress had arrived in a donation bin earlier that summer. No note, no explanation. DNA swabs taken from the dress collar matched samples from Emily's hairbrush. It was her gown. Unworn. Unstained. Unaltered. As if someone had kept it safe all these years. During forensics testing, lab techs noticed something odd. The gown's hem was heavier than it should be. Sewn into the lining, behind the blue ribbon her mother had added, was a tiny cloth pouch. Inside was a folded note. It read, "If someone finds this, tell Daniel I didn't want to run, but I had to choose." He wouldn't have believed me. No one would. The note was unsigned, but handwriting analysts confirmed it was written by Emily. What did it mean? Who did she mean by he? Choose what? Over what? The mystery deepened. The dress gave hope and heartbreak. Emily may not have died the day she vanished. She may have escaped. In 2016, after the dress discovery, the FBI reopened the case. A retired agent named Miriam Delgado, who had worked on the original investigation, came forward with a confession. She had received a postcard in 1997 from Florence, Italy, signed only E. It had been dismissed as a hoax. The card had said, "The sun is softer here. Please forgive me." An analysis of the ink and stamp now confirmed it had been mailed from Florence. But beyond that, no trace. Then came the photograph. A woman named Joanna Chen, vacationing in Rome in 2008, had taken a candid photo in a small piazza. In the background, an American-looking woman with auburn hair and sunglasses sits at a cafe table, and on her finger, a ring identical to Emily's. Facial comparison gave a 78% match. Could Emily have faked her disappearance? If so, why? Was she threatened? Blackmailed? Or had she discovered something she wasn't meant to? Redridge was shaken again. Memorial plaques were taken down. Candlelight vigils returned. Old friends came forward with new stories. A bridesmaid admitted Emily seemed off that day, distant, pale. The wedding photographer revealed one of his rolls of film was missing when he returned from the woods. A florist assistant remembered a man in a black SUV watching the church that day. Was someone planning to harm Emily? Was she forced to flee? Theories swirled online. She was pregnant and wanted out. She witnessed a crime. She was part of witness protection. But no theory answered every question. In 2018, Daniel Reeves held a press conference. Grey-haired, tired, but steady. "I've lived in a ghost story for 25 years. I don't know if Emily is alive. But I know she loved me. And I hope, wherever she is, she knows I forgive her." He donated her ring, dress, and the note to a local museum exhibit titled, "Gone but Never Forgotten, the Emily Hartman Case." People came from across the country to see it. The mystery still holds. The pain remains. But the story continues. Because sometimes, it isn't just a missing person. It's a missing truth. And a dress, left behind after 2 decades, might be the loudest cry for help ever sewn into silk. Because even in absence, love leaves a trace.